his engages, his stuns were fantastic. And of course, that solo bunker kill flag with that push in bot lane was just superb. I think just a little bit of reevaluation of how they approach these engagements might be the case. So giving Goku that freedom is still completely fine.
Well, Mopsio getting that victory is getting closer and closer to being on a championship Sunday. We keep talking about him, but he is someone that we have to focus on. Remember, at the last Western Clash, the Zealots were able to go far into the tournament, the grand finals against Dignitas, with Mopsio leading the team, and with them being in here one step ahead, one win here in this best of 5 series. Can they make it all the way to tomorrow?
It seems like it, but the tough town stuff, Octalysis is still standing there. Remember, that was their Battleground pick for Octalysis, so they did get defeated on that. But it is one thing very different than we saw Team Freedom. Team Freedom was more opportunistic with their approaches. Octalysis, they're down to fight. They just come in, they throw down, they get the kills. And I think when we start looking at different maps, different objectives, maybe things play out differently. You get more from those kills. We know the control points, they have a long duration to cap, recap, things of that nature. So when we start looking at other Battlegrounds, if they can continue to get those types of kills, maybe we get different and better results on the side of Octalysis.
So you described it as down to fight is exactly the issue that we maybe said that Heroes Hearth might have had against Leftovers, as they are just so good at fighting. So once again, reevaluating how they're playing around the map can be an important feature here.
Reevaluating and adjusting. Let's go to Battleground number 2 and see if we get that adjustment to happen here as we head into Rax's holdout, and that is definitely one way to adjust. We do not get this Battleground in Europe very often.
I guess that was backwards on that map pick there that was left over. So this time Octalysis is taking control of that, and it's something that they favor. They love first pick. They've talked about it, especially ever since we've got that third ban. They love first pick. They love having control of that. But here, they're not going to get it.
The one time that we've seen Braxas in this tournament, we had the joy of seeing Planet Cracker destroying Zerg waves. That's something we can see today.
I think so, especially if Phoenix gets through, as both these teams absolutely love him, especially Leftovers. So if they get that, it's a very good chance of seeing that. A very good chance of seeing this as well. The Medivh banned out. It was still incredibly effective in that last game, even if they weren't able to, Octalysis weren't able to win with it. They were able to get it fully stacked. It gave them some good engages, even if not, they weren't able to come home with it in the end.
J-Hal, tell me heroes that we see on this Battleground.
Well, when you're looking at Octalysis, you can expect either a Yrel, if Yrel's banned out, which is highly likely. Then you start looking at the Dahaka and things of that nature to control that. This Octalysis roster was the one that played that double solo lane with the 3-man gank squad. Octalysis has a few tricks up their sleeve of their own, and I think that is something that Leftovers is going to have to prepare for, as we see Genji being removed off a potential gank squad that comes in from Leftovers, as Diablo finally let through. I don't think Mopsio could have clicked that hero fast enough.
Yeah, that was incredibly fast by Mopsio coming in here. Wants that hard engaged potential, and of course Diablo so much sustained with the Firestorm build these days. Gives him a great fight onto those beacons, which nowadays, sustain on the beacon is more important than ever due to the fact it can be neutralized instead of having to force someone off it.
But those sustain abilities come from souls, and they come from post level 4 and 7. So maybe, just maybe, we'll see Octalysis try and find their way. What works into their 3-man gang squad is double solo laners, but led by a Murden to go forward. Also, you can consider a potential Karazim coming in for Buzz.
Going to be seeing the Decade and we already mentioned the Phoenix. They now have the double setup for that Purification Salvo with the Decade Heraldric Cube and the potential for Lightning Breath. We could see a Apocalypse depending on what the rest of the composition comes out here, but we already know the combo just works.
Sticking with what they know. Certainly what Leftovers is doing, it's what they've been doing in online play. Wondering if we might get a Thrall later on for them in that top lane. Dahaka, though, with that global presence is going to be a bit of an issue, and it's something that you have to worry about. And actually, we're not getting a Thrall. Octalysis says no way, bans him out.
Octalysis is one of the few teams that has, on multiple occasions, run Gul'dan. We don't see a lot of Braxis. It's been elsewhere. But it is something to consider. If they want to play more standard, that might be an option for them. Raynor, we know, is much stronger now, holding those points. The sustain damage is there. Gul'dan, we know, has incredible clear on those Zerg waves. Outside of Planet Cracker, his base abilities are probably the best.
Also, Hammer still available for both these teams, with Chromie potentially the best counter to Hammer being banned away. We could still see that coming out here, especially with this quite good frontline. You already mentioned the Karazim. We are seeing that great aggression. The double solo laners, that is a tanky frontline coming in for Octalysis, and potentially one that could super empower us.
Heavy on the melee.
Well, you have Dahaka and Blaze both have either set up CC potential or follow up CC potential. Muradin rotates over, Kirazim dives in. That is how they play their style. Leftovers, they still need a solo laner that can survive this onslaught.
Oh, you don't have to win the lane if you can clear it.
Well then.
What heroic could that be, guys? Somebody know.
I don't know.
I think it starts with an L and then the Ava wave.
I don't know. Kaldor adds another word at the end of that.
No.
Honestly, I think it is. The fact is, you can be rotated against so often as Ragnaros, you might really struggle to win the lane. So as I just said, if you can't win the lane, then clear it. Lava Wave could absolutely be viable here.
But here's why the Greymane pick, and the Rainer is going to be there, but here's why the Greymane pick is so impactful. The Greymane changes the dynamic. If you rotate and you don't get those kills, Greymane does what no other hero does. He does it better. He clears those structures, hopping into that Worgen form. So if you rotate away and you show up on top of that Ragnaros and there's like a 3-4 man gank squad, all of a sudden it's like, all right, can we do this? And if not, Greymane will instantly push in. You have the wave clear from Phoenix, you have the amount of control, you have the disengage potential, and most notably though for Octalysis, that Dahaka pick, the reason why I mentioned that is so important is when that gank squad does come to that lane, if we see a counter push in another lane, you use that global up, then you have 2 solo laners. When things neutralize, you rotate the other one back down.
And we'll see if it pays off here. Ragnaros coming to the mix here on Braxis holdout. Let's go to Kaldor and Kala. Kaldor, are you excited for some Lava Wave?
Let me put it this way, and you will hear me that say once, so save the moment. I wouldn't mind Lava Wave on Braxis with Ragnaros here for the first time. So Tim, enjoy it. I'm never going to say that sentence again.
I think it would look great. This is the map where you choose it, especially with the changes to the objective. I think that would be a fantastic pickup. Personally, I think that the drafts are really, really interesting. The fact that we're seeing the Ragnaros is really cool, but this is the map to see it. See if the Fire Lord's going to take this game.
I mean, I love especially what the Leftovers have currently. They again have Deckard Cain, they have Diablo, they're also looking at Phoenix again. Solo lane should look good for them too. Let's see how Octalysis deals with it. But first of all, we have to the left side of the map, a Podibos for the Leftovers here, currently rocking Ragnaros. DAB on the other hand with Phoenix again, linked on Deckard Cain, Kidney with Greymane, and last but not least, Mopsio on Diablo.
On the right in red, down 1 game, Team Octalysis, ladies and gentlemen. We got Prismaticism. He's going to be on that Rainer on the back line. We got Draded, of course, on the Blaze, Justing, that frontline hero. On the on Muradin, we got Buds supporting everybody on Kirazim and Goku. It's going to be playing the Dahaka. This is a crazy draft from Team Octalysis. Very frontline-centric, very heavy health pools.
We don't see too much Braxis in Europe right now, but looking at the draft that we're seeing from Octalysis, that looks definitely a bit more melee-heavy than I expected.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as even the support goes, it's basically like a melee pick. 4 melee and the 1 range Rainer on that backline.
We should see a lot of salvo value from DAB later on in the game. I mean, you can always go into Planet Cracker on this particular map, but considering that we have Greymane and Ragnaros, the question still remains, do you really need it here still? I would say no, that with salvo you just get so much, especially with Mopsio on Diablo here. So with that heavy front line, I think DAB can dish out a ton of damage later on with the cutter too.
Octalysis is playing very proactive, looking at rotating, trying to find some space in Leftover's side of the jungle. At that point, though, Kidney, nice job sitting in the bush to make sure that Team Octalysis don't go unaccounted for.
We have again also Perfect Storm taken from Muradin here as the level 1. I could definitely have seen him go into block, for example, with Greymane here and also with Phoenix. But they are really trying to get that early game kill. Chinese bush meta right there, setting up the trap, but it's not quite working out. Leftovers was ready for it and trying to turn it around here.
Rooted up now is Buzz, but the counter engage onto Blakitney. He is in Worgen form, so he's going to be able to use that disengage. And Leftovers, they walk away from that one. Here comes the back by Greymane.
I really like this though. Both of the teams were absolutely ready for this. Octalysis with a trap the entire time. Dahaka just waiting for them to engage. But Leftovers already in the area where they're saying like, guys, this is a little bit fishy, murky or no murky, doesn't matter. Something's going on here, so Ragnaros rotated down immediately as this happened.
See, the thing is, Leftovers, even if they get 100-0 on the Zerg wave, they still have all of the tools they need to basically make it a moot point. They've got the Planet Cracker at level 10, they've got Lava Wave perhaps as well, and Ragnaros, just as he is, can use Molten Core to defend very, very well against that ruthless onslaught of the Zerg wave.
I gotta admit that I really like the Ragnaros pick for this map, especially considering how Octalysis was banning and drafting their own setup here. So I'm a bit curious to see how that's going to work in the long run for them, but already Mopsio are trying to go for the point here. Traded, missing that jet propulsion.
Team Octalysis with their camp pushing in the top lane. Meanwhile, Leftovers take control of top as well. Keep in mind, folks, Team Octalysis are the ones with the global. So if they see an opportune moment, Team Octalysis can bring that to hawk it down with the Brushtalker and force a numbers advantage fight.
Kidney piggybacking down to the bot lane again. DAB in trouble, gets healed and moves away. Already thought that we would see Phoenix fall here, but Octalysis cannot secure the kill, but they can secure the objective.
Leftovers, hard team to kill. This is twice now where members of this team get knocked down to low health pools and able to escape. Speaking of which, Justin gets away, and man, traded with the huge jet propulsion, but this is basically just flexing on either side.
Yeah, 4-man stun here by Drade, but it's just the back and forth here at the bot lane where we see the two teams clash up against each other. At the top lane, on the other hand, Dehaka has secured the beacon, and Ragnaros is just trying to stay in the lane and make sure that they don't lose too much here. The action definitely at the bottom of the map.
Lots of skirmishing, but no kills yet. This is 0-0, folks. Right now, Team Octalysis again picking up another camp for themselves. Meanwhile, Leftovers use that time to push in top and take control of this beacon, starting to get themselves some progress.
They're really trying to just threaten Goku here and also put him into a spot where he always has to question when there's someone missing on the map, am I getting ganked or not? But talking about ganks and an effort to go for Mopsio, they're turning it around against Justin. Well done by Mopsio. Him under pressure, and he still has that coolness, that level-headedness that allows him to just turn it around and put the pressure onto Muradin instead.
Makes him one of my favorite tank players to watch. But speaking of tank players, Derated walking in on that Blaze, taking so much damage. Leftovers are pushing in, and they get first blood onto Blaze.
Leftovers moving in with another kill here. And this is really an explosive early game that we're seeing. The Leftovers have taken game number 1. Octalysis, they know that their tournament life is on the line here. They need to make sure that they're coming back into this. Going down 0-2 with their map choice here now would definitely not be the start into the best of 5 that they're hoping for.
Justin with a nice zone control there, sitting in the bush, landing the Stormbolt onto Blakitny, so that he's forced to walk safely at that point. The fact of the matter is, Team Octalysis lost a member there, but didn't lose beacon control. That's a fantastic job by them. It was all about that positioning of Justin, so Team Octalysis is just keeping this one at least at a neutral point.
One of the things that's really important here to note is that also with Brayman, you have, of course, a lot of push potential. We haven't really seen that yet because Blakitny rotates oftentimes to the top lane when there's space for him to turn it into a 2-for-1, but it's definitely an option for the later stages. Again, here comes Goku. He misses the drag, though, but we have the jet propulsion in the back against Diablo, and that puts Mozio in a bit of an awkward spot as he's trying to move out, but it gives a lot of space up at that top lane to Ragnaros, who now tries to push out the lane quickly. And that's experience lost. If you make the commitment with your global to the bot lane, you need to get something done, and that didn't happen for Octalysis.
Yeah, nice job by Leftovers to walk away from that one. And I got to talk about Mopsio. The fact of the matter, his level 1 talent choice, the Feast on Fear, he has been positioning in such a way where he's able to get these stuns so that he can get that healing for himself. Because on this map, not running the Devil's Due, not collecting those globes, all of the fights have taken place either on the control point or just to the left or right.
And we actually have a Octalysis with a massive rotation up to the top lane, trying maybe even to take some of the structures down, but they definitely expose that bot lane here. I'm actually a little bit torn on that decision to always rotate Blakitny up to the top. I would have really liked them to keep him maybe at the bot lane and try and raise that wall at least.
Yeah, or you maybe even just grab some camps with that. But Mopsio, again, just trying to survive DAB with the warp to get to safety, and Link with the absolutely massive scroll of sealing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not watched Link play Deckard Cain, you need to be watching him because he has been playing amazing.
And he does exactly that again, saving Mopsio here and creating opportunities for his own team. Talking about opportunities, DAB in trouble, and he goes down as Octalysis is punishing the warp cooldown. Mopsio trying to move out here with a great shadow charge, and again the quick flip over to put a bit of tower damage onto Justin, but the drag is in as we see Drayden trying to go for the play, but Octalysis just cannot kill Mopsio.
Not quite, but Octalysis at least got something off of their 1 kill onto Phoenix. They have control over bottom. They have control over top. We're now seeing 56% on that Zerg wave, and Octalysis are positioning onto this wall too, looking to take down some structures for themselves. The beacon progress is almost here. Ragnaros is trying to stop top, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, Blaze is in the spot where he's still holding on to it, but here we have the attack happening. Actually, at that point, at least they're stopping the beacon progress. 84 against 14%, and it's again a 4 versus 4. They're trying to move in. This time, Deckard not able to lock anyone down, but we still have Mopsio for that. Goku needs to pop it straight here. Gets the essence, tries to turn it around, but once more, just big fighting here down at the bot lane.
so much meat on both of these teams, so much health bar on the side of Team Octalysis. Mopsio is the focus of them most of the time, and he has been surviving very, very well. Justin stepping up onto that beacon.
Level 10 abilities are going to change everything here. There's all of a sudden so much damage potential from leftovers once that those come into play. But of course we have at the same time isolation for the Haka. We're seeing the bunker to negate a lot of that damage that could potentially come from Phoenix, from Diablo, from Greymane. Again, the jump, the drag, and the kill as Deckard Gain goes down.
Linked is dead. Mopsio is again the focus of Octalysis. Prismaticism trying to throw some rounds into him there. Meanwhile, topside again, control for Team Octalysis. Level 10s here. We got the first Zerg wave of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, pushing into that top lane.
Just as the level 10s are in play, and we're seeing again Salvo on the side of Phoenix. Hyperion being used by Octalysis, and they're trying to find value at the bot lane. The trade of Ragnaros is kicking in all the way up at the top, where Ragnaros is trying to defeat the wave with the Molten Core.
No heroic choice yet for Ragnaros. Trick, I know you're waiting, but it hasn't happened quite yet. Mopsio also just under a little bit of fire onto that top lane, but this has been quite a fantastic defense of the leftovers so far. There's the stay a while and listen.
They're going for Goku, and here comes the Salvo. They're getting the damage in, but it's not enough to get a kill. Very, very late Lightning Breath here by Mopsio, not getting any value for him.
This was an amazing defense by the leftovers. Look at top. All it took was the single wall. If you're the leftovers and you lose that hard in the objective, you have to be super happy with that outcome.
Yeah, definitely. The defense was great, but the Lightning Breath, if he can get that synergy with the Salvo off a little bit better, they might be even able to get a kill here. Didn't quite happen, and now they have to wait for the cooldowns to come back again. But we're still also waiting for Ragnaros here. What is he going to do? Blaze solo on the top lane now. Has leftovers are 5 manning the bottom, trying to get one of their camps.
Team Octalysis, again, they're playing these in-between phases quite well. They're looking for a lot of invades. They're trying to catch as many members of leftovers as possible. And honestly, they're the only team so far to look at those invades. Of course, you've got the Deckard King. You don't have a lot of heroes that really synergize with invades, but still, Team Octalysis is playing a little bit differently in this game number 2, being more proactive, and I like seeing it from them.
What do you think about go for the throat here? Chris, Bullet could have definitely been an option if you want to chunk down Muradin, if you want to go for that Yahaka at any point. Does that surprise you as a talent choice?
It's just because the Kharazim style build. We've got the 7-sided strike, so if you went with the go for the throat now, there's no Divine Palm in order to stop it from happening, so at least you get those secure kills, but of course you get so much value out of the Curse Bullet, all of those big health pools on the side of Team Octalysis, but I can see the reasoning for the Greymane pick.
Also gives him a bit more mobility in that setup then too. And that can really be the linchpin, especially with all the stuns that we're seeing here. Lekini still holding back his heroic ability here, waiting the entire time for any opportunity for a team fight to happen or any situation where he can get the value. But we see Octalysis with these rotations and a quick Hyperion again. They're trying to race down these structures, but the rotation is already in as the leftovers are looking for the flank. Here comes the smash, leftovers crushing the hopes and dreams of Trixler.
Mopsio also just gonna get silenced up and have to walk away from that one. I must say that was a pretty ambitious Hyperion in the top lane. I see what Team Octalysis was looking to do, but that's a sizable cooldown now. Leftovers, they've got a little bit of a advantage when it comes to those heroic trades, but keep in mind, folks, Team Octalysis is just about to hit level 13.
And while Trixler is silently crying in a corner, mourning the lost opportunity of seeing a lava wave here at the Western Clash, we're seeing Octalysis rotating back down to the bottom of the map and trying to form it. They are structure pushing the entire time. We see the Hyperion used at the top, the rotation back down, and this is a race. And I am not quite sure if you really want to race against the Greymane here.
And I love this response by the leftovers. The fact that they're like, sure, go ahead. We're just going to push this one out, because even if you do get this race and you get the structural advantage, we're the ones with the heroes that can really do a lot more when it comes to defending. Because consider Team Octalysis' draft. If ever the leftovers get a sizable Zerg wave, they're going to have a super difficult time de-pushing the minions that push in.
And we are already seeing another quick fight here as we have the Lightning Breath this time coming out a lot earlier. The bunker countering the Salvo, but a lot of damage against Goku in the back as he's completely isolated. He was able to get his own isolation onto Potipos, but again, stay a while isn't being used as we have Blakitni chasing Dehaka down. The fight completely wrapping around the beacon at the top as we see the 7-sided on Mopsio. Diablo in trouble, and he falls.
Oh, he goes down here, but on the backside, Kharazim is also traded out on no Divine Palm to save him. Fantastic Molten Core by Potipos on the Ragnaros, securing that kill. This is a 1-for-1.
At this point, this is actually great for leftovers. The problem, of course, being that Diablo now lost his souls. He's going to try and get those back, but they have the extra body on the map regardless. Traded with a great attempt here to stun out Phoenix, but so far DAB has been saved by Deckard Cain once again, and they take the point.
Nice job by Octalysis. Just to back up off of that one, you mentioned the fact that Diablo was on his way back. They had Bunker up in 5 seconds, ISO up very, very shortly, as well as the 7-sided. So if Team Octalysis took that fight over the top point, that could have spelled certain doom. And of course, they had control over the bottom beacon.
I also have to say that on level 13, what I especially love is the resilient flame here for Ragnaros. If you think about what he's going up against here, Dehaka, Murden, and Blaze, getting that 40% damage reduction whenever you get stunned is absolutely fantastic. That's really going to help him here with survivability, and is going to be huge against what Octalysis is trying to do here.
Nice change up there for the Ragnaros. This is a very even game at this point. If you look at structures, 1 eliminated on the bottom side for Leftovers, 1 eliminated on the top side for Octalysis. This is a very even game.
I mean, let's be honest here. So far this series has been amazing. Game 1 was great, was a bit of an anticlimactic ending here on the 3rd Protector, but now the story just continues into game number 2, and Octalysis is fighting for every single inch of the map.
And not only that, this is just an interesting style of draft. Team Octalysis with this heavy frontline focus, and then on the other side of Leftovers, you got the Rag. This is something that we don't traditionally see. I love when these teams bring these sort of cards to these games.
Now, where Octalysis excels is so far the objective control. They have again a 50% advantage over Leftovers. But of course, there are opportunities for quick kills, especially around the Sulfura Smash, if you time that properly with Diablo or with a good stale Mylanders. So they're going to look for these opportunities. But rotations from both teams towards the camps, always trying to create more lane pressure.
Yeah. Right now, Octalysis have bottom side control, but frequently we're seeing their Dehaka in the lane that they don't have control in. What I'd like to see them change up is rotate down the Dehaka, put your 4-man in the top lane, and look to engage on the point that you don't have. Because right now, Team Octalysis are just fighting for something that they already have. Instead, if they switched up the way that they use their Dehaka, they could look for the control. But at the same time, Team Octalysis see all 5 members of Leftovers. Dehaka looking to step up, but now that the Leftovers have kind of dipped out of vision, he's a little bit scared of that, especially considering that Octalysis are first on their way to 16.
Yeah, Dehaka just moved up to the top and made sure that they take the control away. But again, these pushes, I like this. This is Dehaka taking the top for just a few seconds, denying it to Leftovers, Leftovers rotating, and that's what Octalysis uses to move in and drop the Hyperion. And that might be a bit cool on burn, but over time, that can really net them a lot of a structural advantage that could help them to win this game, especially if the Leftovers can't force them into fights.
Definitely. It's a little critical at first, but Mopsio getting 7-sided here, but he's able to walk away to safety. DAB is the next focus. Justin trying to find him, but he's warping to safety.
And they're already on the way back, but there's a camp pushing at the top lane. That's a bit of an advantage for Leftovers, as they are buying more time. Octalysis, on the other hand, with the early level 16 talent, you talked about it just a few seconds ago, will kick in, and now they have half a level where they can attempt to take a lead.
This next Zerg wave for Octalysis will be pushing down bottom, but you cannot discount Leftovers with these changes to this Zerg wave. This is a lot of damage, and look at the wave already. You mentioned it. Dehaka needs to do a lot of work. I would expect Leftovers to try to use that multi-core, maybe see if they can even find something as far as picks, because they got the numbers advantage on the bot lane.
It should be an easy defense for Leftovers here, since Dehaka has to stay at the top lane for quite some time to defend the camp and the wave. So Octalysis is very unlikely to get a lot out of this push. 16 is going to be here any second, but the rotation to the top lane that we see from Octalysis is at least netting them a fort. So they get another structure that they just took down. That was actually a smart choice. It was the most that they could get in this situation.
Absolutely agree, because if they did represent bottom side and they pulled down the Dehaka, then Leftovers gain a lot from that because their top lane pushes. And the fact is that Team Octalysis, with that rotate, picked up a fort off of it. At least they get something.
Octalysis has made a lot of good rotations to get that Hyperion damage and structure damage in. The only thing that I'm worried about a little bit is if you try and continue that style, you have to push into your opponent's side of the map a lot more now that the forts are down. So you really have to expose yourself to potential flanks. If they stay a second too long, 2 seconds too long, there will be a flank. And if Leftovers can force a fight in these situations on their terms, flanking in from the side, that could backfire really, really quickly against Octalysis.
They got flanking heroes. Let's see if the Leftovers can find it. Justin getting stunned up a little bit, but the counter Stormbolt there to start this fight on the bottom lane.
Justin already low, but the Hyperion is up again. Stay a while and listen to help them move out. Here comes the Sulfuras. They're going for Murden, but Justin is still fine. The 7-sider comes out, and the kill against Ragnaros. Ragnaros getting wrecked as we are seeing Goku looking for another drag.
Goku getting stunned up there by Mopsio, flipped over. Justin trying to find more, and the drag lands on the Phoenix. That is a 2-for-0 for Team Octalysis.
Perfect kill against Phoenix, exactly what they needed, but Murden falls. If they don't take down Phoenix, this could have been a nightmare for Octalysis. It could still backfire as Goku is being attacked here. Blake Kidney jumping on Reina, taking him down. Jimmy is dead, and he's not stopping there. He goes for Kerosene, obliterating the backline of Octalysis and going even forward rated as we have Blaze falling. Leftovers turning a disadvantageous situation into a quad kill.
Absolutely amazing turn by the Leftovers, and this is why this team is impressing me so much. You put them into a team fight situation, I don't care if it's an advantage, a disadvantage, they will always find these holes and they will score every single time. Leftovers are absolutely fantastic. Let's have a look at this replay.
This fight was absolutely brutal. I really loved the move from Mopsio, making sure that the Haka couldn't get a second kill in after we've seen this. Look at this. Goku is looking for the drag. Mopsio comes in and actually stops it. And then we have DAB with the damage. But they jump on DAB and they take Phoenix down. And in that moment, it looks dire. A 5 versus 3. And we see Leftovers turning it around. Getting the quick kill against Muradin. And then chasing. And are able to get one kill after another. Especially with the help of Likitni, who just jumped on the damage dealer. And never gave Reina a chance to dish those damage in.
And that's the thing. If you have low damage but high health pools and you're focusing on this backline of Leftovers, you got to focus on all of them. You cannot ignore this Greymane because he was just shooting the entire time on the backline, and it's not like that gets any better. Level 20, that Hunter's Blunderbuss, that's a problem.
And now we're having a huge lead in experience for Leftovers as they're going into the next fight. They want these engages, they want these 5-on-5s. The Haka with a Dragon Tabber trade and misses it against DAB. Here comes again Deckard Kane, and we see the damage coming out. Hyperion on the other hand, forcing Leftovers back. Back and forth, Mopsio falls, and he will be back in a few seconds, but his team, and they get the counter kill. They're trying to, the solo, the kills, 1, 2, 3, 4, they are all hitting the floor here as Goku is getting chased. Leftovers looking for the team wipe.
Likitni, absolutely amazing play there, just sitting on the backline. We just talked about it. He kites back the whole time. The smash to follow up, the re-engage. Leftovers get the 5-person team wipe. First objective that is massively in their favor at this point. This team is looking unstoppable in this series.
And they're looking, what are the options right now? They have the objective. Do they go for boss? No, why would you?
Yeah.
There are 5 heroes down. You go for the keep directly. You go for the core. You have the objective coming in. Leftovers, they are looking for the clean 2-0 here. And after that team wipe, you cannot blame them.
Body Boss jumping into that molten core. The Leftovers starting to do damage onto the core of Team Octalysis. The death timers are still so high. 20 minutes into the game. Leftovers looking for that 2-0.
Mopsio with the Dignitas sprays already saying, we are coming for you in the finals here. The core goes down and Team Leftovers takes the 2-0 lead over Octalysis.
Absolutely fantastic job by the Leftovers, and it seems like every single time these games with this team swing in a team fight, and whether it's an advantage or a disadvantage, they will always find their way into these fights. It's absolutely fantastic.
The turnarounds that we saw, just baiting them back, and then the swift turnaround, especially after all those cooldowns were blown onto Diablo, they're saying, okay boys, now just unload everything you have and take them down. It worked twice in big and important team fights. Great play here from the Leftovers, and it nets them that massive lead in the best-of-5 series.
Absolutely amazing. Again, let's hear what our analysts have to say about that game and perhaps even moving forward.
Leftovers might be up 2-0 right now, but boy, this has been a series so far. How did the Leftovers turn around so many fights there?
Turns out we were so looking forward to the Lava Wave, but those were some really good Sulfura smashes, able to turn around just so many fights because, for starters, Buds was dominating them with a lot of those seven-sided strikes and those cleansing touches to deny some of that CC, but the damage output from that, and of course, Bakitni on Greymane was just too good.
Yeah, Greymane was really doing work in this matchup.
It seemed like in all of those fights, they had the potential did Octalysis to get the initial kill, but it was everything beyond that that turned against them. We're going to take a look at how that big team fight took place in that last moment, because it was really set up by the Dahaka that we'll see in a moment. He's going to release that isolation, and that's kind of where things start. The problem is that that's actually going to be on Podyboss, who we'll keep our eye on him in a moment. And now we go forward because Goku constantly with beating Frenzy at 7 was landing drag after drag as we roll it forward, so the constant aggression is there. The stun came in, and that's when 7-Sided Strike finally took down the beast of Diablo. He had been nigh unkillable. Now, all of a sudden, this is what we know that we have from Octalysis. They love to go forward. They get one pick and they smell blood in the water. They will not let up. They have Murden on there. The problem is, well, you're right. We had no Lava Wave. Instead, we got the big old Sulfurous Smash. So we'll see that turnaround here in a moment. And there it comes in. There comes the plays. This is when all the R buttons are starting to be hit on the side of Leftovers, because the salvo comes out, and that's when everything starts hitting. As we take away that spotlight, there we go. But all that kept going. As we'll roll that back so we can take another look at this, because it was all about the Sulfurous Smash into the stay a while and listen, into basically everything that they could throw at them. The bunker just got melted in that situation, and everything turned around on a dime.
I'm so glad you showed us that, because I did not see that sleep from Lynx denied them getting in the bunker to set up for the purification salvo. That was clutch.
That was the best part. It was a cohesive thought to turn around and put out as much damage as they could. The stay a while and listen, of course, helping out. Everyone working together as a team. All right, we have Leftovers up 2-0, and they're looking to close it out with a 3-0. We'll see if they can do it right after this commercial break.